From the iconic movie poster that spawned a worldwide phenomenon to fantastic works of public art, John Van Hamersveld is known the world over for his striking graphic designs that defined a generation. But before he became famous in the art world, Van Hamersveld was just another South Bay surfer boy, taking classes at El Segundo High School. And so this is currently on view right now.
Yeah.
John Van Hamersveld was surrounded by art from an early age. With creative parents and supportive mentors, Van Hamersveld would soon make a name for himself through his unusual psychedelic style.
You always have to go back to Palos Verdes and the house that was there. Between my father and my father being an engineer and talking about industrial design, and my mother teaching me how to draw and all that. That compound there and then going to school, those are two very important things, that guided me into the arts.
With no high school in Palos Verdes at the time, Van Hamersveld and other students were sent to El Segundo High School, where his skills as a swimmer made him a valuable addition to the school's athletics department.
I end up going to this school which wants the students from Palos Verdes because of their background, I guess, because the swim team that I was on in Palos Verdes went on to the Olympics. And the swim team, yes, I beat them all anyway because I surfed. My friends would come by and pick me up, the older ones, and they would take me on surfing trips, as well as taking me to school every day. So going to school each day was like 10 miles to El Segundo from Palos Verdes and 10 miles back. We would meet all these different people from different towns that were surfers. It was a wonderful kind of process to go from Palos Verdes to El Segundo.
Despite his artistic and athletic abilities, Van Hamersveld struggled academically.
I went over to Loyola with my parents and they checked me out and found that I had dyslexia, which they didn't have a name for that at the time. The guys just said, well, he's very good at three-dimensional puzzles and all that, but the reading and writing thing is very difficult.
It was then a novel change was made to Van Hamersveld's curriculum, which he would later describe as life-changing.
Well, why don't we do this? You're in that typing class, you can type 35 words a minute. Why don't we put you into 2 classes of art? So I had 2 classes of art every day. Arthur Page was there first, and he was replaced by Al Toddy, who was a guy from UCLA and Pomona and all that, as the teacher. So he was a more contemporary young person. We just connected. And he sort of opened the whole place up to me. So he encouraged me. That was my experience, and I really enjoyed it.
Shortly after graduating from El Segundo High School, Van Hamersveld's artistic talents and surfing connections landed him a job for Surfer magazine, working for legendary publisher John Servison and surf filmmaker Bruce Brown.
And at a point there, I'm doing Bruce Brown's advertising, and I'm working with his manager. And his manager says, we have this project called The Endless Summer. Would you come over and take a look at it? So I go and take a look, and I say, wow, this is good.
It was the Endless Summer movie poster that immortalized Van Hamersveld in the surfing industry. The image became an international phenomenon and helped to define surf culture around the world. He went on to work for Capitol Records, designing the album covers for the Beatles, Kiss, Blondie, and other great musicians. And his time as a teacher at Cal Arts made him a mentor to many contemporary designers, solidifying his place among the great artists of the Los Angeles counterculture movement.
I love this show right now that you have, the California Locos. I've known each of them. Actually, I know John the longest. I know him since 1980. He was teaching at Cal Arts. His work has been a huge influence on my life, starting with the Endless Summer movie poster, all the Magical Mystery Tour album cover, and just so much great art that he's produced. And I got to finally meet him when I was a student at Cal Arts, and we got to hang out a little bit, and then our relationship has grown over the last 35 years or so.
Everything about him speaks South Bay. He's a resident. He was, I think, raised here in the South Bay. He's kind of iconic with the whole surf community. And when people found out about his exhibition, they flocked here because of that. I think we're just lucky to have him and lucky to have him participate with us.
Dusties, California is based in the heritage, in the history from the skate and surf from back in the 70s when everything started, right? And John couldn't be probably the most iconic artist to represent that era. But when you talk about history, when you talk about skateboarding, when you talk about surf, and you think about John Van Hamersveld and the things that he did back in the 60s with Rolling Stones, with The Who, with The Endless Summer, I mean, it's so iconic. It means so much for everything that we have nowadays. There's so much people inspired by what happened back in the day, and it started with people like John Van Hamersveld.
Today, John Van Hamersveld has reinvented himself as an artist, focusing on abstract, expressionist prints and large-scale mural projects, bringing his vivid and unique style of art to a new generation.
This 4 years has just been like a whirlwind of public art. The great part of it is that people will lean against it and have a picture taken, and then that picture goes on to social media. So this is the nice part of the public art thing, is that people like to see themselves with the art, and the art then travels. So that's my latest project.
From South Bay surfer boy to cultural arts phenomenon, John Van Hamersveld is one El Segundo High School grad we can all admire. For El Segundo TV, I'm Natassia Gascon.